Okay, I'm gonna be real and say I am struggling to stand up, let alone be outside in this muggy heat, because we are still not feeling so great. And now the symptoms are starting to feel more like flu. But I wanted to come out here because last season I was not impressed with this okra. I was really upset with the production, how many plants we had planted versus what we got compared to the normal Clemson spineless. Now, if you don't know, these are heavy hitter okra. They were derived from Clemson spineless okra by picking for the plants that had the best pods and heavy production. So the most productive of the plants with the best quality pods were picked. And if you don't know, an okra pod is this fruit right down here. It's a part of the plant that you eat. Now, okra are related to hibiscus, and you'll see these little flowers. This is before it's open. When I first started growing okra, I thought this was the okra. Even though I've seen okra before, I was not aware of how it grew. So you can see, like, this is the unopened flower. Here's one where the flower just fell off, and then here's the actual okra. There's another okra down here. Now, because these are related to hibiscus, these actually have a yellow flower, and they are so gorgeous. So they would be really attractive in the lawn too, especially because from what I've been told and from what I'm seeing, these are definitely a smaller variety. We're not talking about an 8 to 10 foot okra plant. You can see I'm under 5'5", and these okra, this one comes up, let's see, about there, my knee maybe. So these are not very large, and therefore I'm really impressed that they're even producing. Now the storms dang near blew them over the last couple of weeks. Some of them literally got washed away because this whole area was okra. But we still have 3 big plants right here doing well. A very small plant underneath it. This one that I'm trying to pull back up because it was falling over. Several plants right here, 1 or 2 that's made it over there. So I might fill in between these plants. I don't think I have any more heavy hitter okra seeds. I do have orange Jing okra. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm really bad at pronouncing certain words. I'll just blame, the decade I spent in speech therapy there. But overall, I'm really impressed with these. Last season, they didn't produce well. The plants are sickly, and the pods looked more red. And I've heard some people say, oh yeah, the pods are red tinged, but every picture I've seen from people growing these heavy hitter okra, the pods are supposed to be green like the Clemson spineless. So my first review of this, I was really convinced that either I had the worst first experience growing these plants ever, or they were not what they were supposed to be. And now that I'm seeing the way the leaves look and the color of the pods early on, I'm really convinced that I did not have good quality seeds the first time around, that they were probably mixed with some other type of okra, kind of like maybe a Texas Hill Country red cross, because they were a little more squatty and had red on them, and would get really pithy very fast, very woody, versus the normal Clemson spineless I've grown that I've not really had that problem with unless they get pretty large. So now I come out here to check on this plant because it did have a flower or 2 right before the storm hit 2 days ago, and we have several okra, and so I'm pretty excited about that. There are more flowers producing, and then there's still a lot of healthy leaves starting to come out. You can see all of these flower pods up here and leaf pods. I say leaf pods, but baby leaves forming, a lot of flower pods forming. I'm pretty excited. I think this is really great. I'm looking forward to seeing how well these continue to produce. Like I said, this whole area was okra. I'm going to add some more okra in here, I think. I definitely want to plant more tomatillos somewhere in the yard too. Those are one of my favorites to grow and so easy. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I definitely wanted to come out here and show this off because my first review was not great. My first experience wasn't great. And now these heavy hitter okra, man, they are doing so well despite the extreme heat and the storms and all of those things coming through constantly. I'm very concerned that storm season is going to be severe this year because we have had a lot of storm damage, a lot of flooding in a very short period of time. So that's just something that's a little wild here in Southeast Texas. It's definitely going to be an interesting year for named storms, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully these okra continue to push through all of the summer season into the fall, and we can get a really good harvest. But if this is any indicator of how well the rest of the year is going to grow, we should absolutely get a harvest. Oh, and look at this. So you can see the yellow coming through from this flower is just starting to open. It does have some ants on it though. I will say one thing that I've noticed is there has been some caterpillar damage, and I don't see any on here right this second because I already came through and picked them off earlier. They're the little black caterpillars with the yellow on them. So I've not had a lot of issues with caterpillars in the past on my okra plants, and I don't think it's going to be a big issue for the larger plants. As you can see, they're thriving, right? But for the smaller plants that maybe are already having a lot of issues because of how wet it's been in this area, the leaves look really rough. They do not look good at all. So we'll see if they pull through. But at the very least, I am very confident that we are going to have a better okra season this year that better aligns with the previous experience we've had that were positive with growing Clemson spineless variety. And hopefully this heavy hitter plays off of that and is even better than the original Clemson spineless that we've grown for several years now. So thank you guys for checking out my okra. I definitely wanted to show them off and hype them up a little bit because I didn't get to do so last year. And it's usually a great crop for us, so I was really disappointed. But this year, it looks like we're gonna have a much better season, even though we've had a crazy wild weather all season long.